Hey, what is going on, guys? Thanks for tuning in to another episode on the Truckmeister channel. Alright guys, so today this is what I'll be doing. I'm going to do a full installation on the onboard oil bypass unit for my Duramax 6.6 liter diesel truck, so stay tuned. So I've been focusing heavily on basically what product, what's the best one on the market right now. What sets the onboard aside from all the other types of oil filtration systems is the simple fact that the other ones, the way it works is their oil filters are compacted with a lot of very tight, thin paper. The thing is that paper over time will get gummed up with just a bunch of disgustingness. You know, your unburnt fuel, water, and all this other stuff that's going on your oil. Just all that gunk. It's compacting it, and eventually, over time, it's going to raise your oil pressure because it's clogged. And that's definitely something that I don't like to do, and that's something that I really don't want for my engine. So basically, I want to focus on overall longevity of my engine. You know, as most of you guys know, engine oil over time will eventually oxidize. Just it can literally start gouging parts of your metal material inside of your engine. And you know, the engines just don't last as long as we want them to. And a lot of it has to do with oil. It really does. So if you can keep your engine oil cleaner, your engine's going to last for a very, very long time. A whole lot longer than just 100,000 miles or 200,000 miles. Maybe some of you guys out there that are driving trucks that are just completely stock, I'm sure you guys have 300, 400,000 miles. I'm sure you've seen that or heard of that before. But I'm sure the engine internal components probably aren't the best looking. And you know, really just this particular type of brand is going to work really great, especially for newer trucks as well. 'Cause, I mean, if you were to buy a new truck, throw this onboard system on your truck, it's a really good just insurance piece, knowing that your oil is always going to stay clean. It's going to definitely lessen the intervals of oil changes drastically. I would say, just for my driving habits and how much I drive. I know on onboard they have a calculator that will actually tell you, you know, how much money you'd actually save if you did this. But really, how much I drive, I'd probably only have to do. So basically, every one oil change that I do, now it's going to be 3 oil changes. So it's pretty awesome. I mean, I really wouldn't have to do as many oil changes anymore. But really, what sets this thing apart from everybody else is the simple fact that they've designed this sort of way of filtrating the blow-by gases coming from your oil. And there's just a lot of crud in your oil, guys. Especially, we're talking diesel engines. The unburnt fuel, the water, the dirt. There's just a whole lot of things going on in there, and over time it can just really destroy your engine. And the way this works is this specific system right here is more of like a refinery in a way, where it literally evaporates all that stuff, and it vacuums itself through this tube into your intake, and then it goes right through your combustion chamber and it burns it out clean. And also, onboard's claiming that the fuel mileage will increase. To me, it makes a lot of sense. I don't know that for sure because I'm just installing it. I really don't know. But I'll definitely do a review on it and let you guys know. But that's another thing, is your fuel economy is going to drastically increase. I wouldn't say, when I say drastically, I don't mean like 3 or 4. I'm sure about maybe 1 mpg better, which is definitely worth it. That's a good gain right there. But overall, that's kind of why I'm doing this, guys. Stay tuned. I want you guys to just watch everything from start to finish, so you have an idea on kind of what the job entails. Because I will be going sort of in depth, just like most of my previous videos. Hey, if this is a definite thing that you're really considering on buying, make sure you click on the link in the description. I'm gonna go ahead and leave below. I'm gonna leave their .com website in there, so you can go on there and order the parts yourself. But other than that, hey guys, enjoy, and thanks for tuning in. So here's the extra stuff that I went ahead and picked up at the store. You're going to need extra stuff in order to accomplish this task. Once you have the kit, you're going to be having to purchase a few other things as well. So you're definitely going to have to get new oil for the truck. So I went with 2.5 gallons Rotella 1540 synthetic. You're going to want to go ahead and get your oil filter, get your gasket maker for your oil pan, because you're going to have to put a new gasket on there anyways. Here's the part number right there. And then go ahead and pick yourself up. You're going to want to go ahead and get a 3/8 tap, 37/64 drill bit right here, which is going to be a little different. You're going to want to go ahead and either buy that online or maybe a local tooling business in your area. So 1/8 tap, 1/8 drill, JB weld or liquid silver, and some gloves. So guys, just make sure you're prepared before you do this job. It's very important. Just pre-game it before you start working on this stuff, because it's going to be kind of tricky. Okay guys, so Onboard hooked me up with an oil sample kit, and what I'll be doing is I'll be sending this analysis, this oil sample, to Lucas Dynamics. And what's really cool is they already give you the packaging, so all you gotta do once you get the sample, you just put it right in there and send it right back to them. Go ahead and get that off right now. That fills up really quick, by the way. Okay. Make sure you have a shop rag accessible. That way, when you send this in, you know, obviously it's going to be clean. So just wipe it off. Okay, that really sucked. Just dropped the oil sample in the drain pan. Yeah, so make sure you have a shop rag so you can wipe this thing off. Before you ship this off, you know, clean it off, and then I would just put some tape over it, 4 corners around, put it inside the shipping container, and then mail it off. All right, guys. So I went ahead and took all the bolts off the oil pan, which is pretty self-explanatory, as you can see. Kind of go around here. There's a whole bunch of them. Go ahead and just take them off. You have to work your arm around everything, but you'll be able to get to it. So the reason why we are taking off the oil pan is because we have to drill it, and we actually have to do a tap, because we're going to install a fitting, a 45-degree fitting that's going to be your return line for the oil. So that's why we're dropping this this oil pan. So if you guys are having trouble dropping this down, because it's actually a gasket, like a gasket maker type silicone, that's holding this oil pan up to the engine here, and obviously the bolts and whatnot. But there's no actual, like, rubber gasket that goes around it. You have to make your own gasket for that. So just understand that you're going to have to break that seal. What I ended up doing was I went ahead and just tapped it like that until it came off, and then it dropped. Actually, I still got to pull this one off right here. But, I used a rubber mallet. Do not use a hammer on this thing, man, to break that. It's a horrible idea. Now, if you guys do get yourself in a jam, another method that I would suggest you guys do is, let me get this down here, is go ahead and, take that fitting off right there. Take it out, and then get yourself a 90-degree elbow type bar. Go ahead and stick in there and leverage yourself upward like that. And it should be able to break this pan free. There'll be a hole in there, so you'll have some leverage. But in my case, I used a rubber mallet, tapped on it a few times, and it literally broke it very easily. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that down right now. Okay, so one thing I did not mention for a reason is the first thing that you really want to do is go ahead and take off that actual cross member, okay? So the reason why I didn't take the cross member off is because I have a 6-inch lift. So as you guys can see, there's absolutely zero way that I can pull this out. It looks like I can, but the sump goes too deep. So what I'm going to go ahead and do to drill and tap, you can actually turn this thing just like that. Alright guys, make sure you discard of the old oil. Okay guys, so go ahead and just peel off that old gasket, and I did most of it already. I didn't want to go into too depth on how to pull it. I just pulled it off with my finger. It just kind of peels off. So next, just get a light scuff pad, nothing serious. Just kind of go over the surface and get most of that gasket off. You want to get all that off so you can apply the new one. Okay guys, I went ahead and just took some clamps right here, clamped it to my table. And we'll be using a 37/64 drill bit right here. And this is a specialized part, guys. You're not going to be able to buy this thing at like a, auto parts store or whatnot. You actually have to maybe go to FASS or maybe a specialized tooling company. I went to the Production Tools in Lansing, Michigan. 37/64. I paid about 20 bucks for it. So, yeah, you're not going to be able to just pick this up anywhere. Just letting you know that right now. So we're going to go ahead and drill the hole right now, and you're going to want to go to the left and just up a little bit of the oil center itself. Okay guys, not always the best situation when you're drilling a hole into your oil pan, but we're going to go ahead and tap that right now. That way we can install our 45-degree fitting. Alright guys, so for the job for this one right here, you're going to be using a 3/8 tap. okay? And it's the pipe tap. So here it is right here. We're gonna go ahead and just we're gonna go ahead and get our threading, and then we're gonna be able to install our 45-degree fitting. Just back it off, and you should have your threading. Looks like. Right now I'm just putting a little bit of that JB weld around it, or liquid silver, whatever you can pick up, and then I'm gonna go ahead and just install it right now, and then make sure that this fitting is pointing in an upper. Basically, it's got to point straight up. Next, go ahead and insert your fitting. Okay guys, one thing I want to note here is, as you can see, you have two holes. You see where the oil sensor plug is right here? Make sure that it's in between these two holes right here. See how that's oriented? So just double and triple check that before you drill that hole. So let's go ahead and get that gasket maker on it. Okay, so I know it's not perfect, but when you guys put the gasket on there, just make sure you just circle all the little holes, and then just line down just like that. That way you get a better seal instead of just putting your seal wherever the heck you want to on the rim here. So just circle all the holes, and then just kind of go line around it like that, and you should be good to go. Okay, so remember guys, this will be a whole lot easier if that cross member wasn't there, but in my case I'm gonna have to work around it, so just bear with me, y'all. Right now I'm just installing the little 10mm bolts to go around the oil pan. So make sure you do that. And there's going to be a certain pattern that you're going to want to go ahead and tighten these things down at. It's going to be 89 inch-pounds. Make sure you guys torque them to the proper specifications. Okay guys, so go ahead and get back under there, and you're going to see your oil filter. So check this out. We're going to go ahead and tap right into this bolt right here. It's a 19mm right here. You're going to want to go ahead and take that out, and we're going to install the compression fitting. And, don't forget, this is this bolt has a lot of oil holding it. It's a plug, so make sure that drain pan is under there. Okay guys, so now time to install the fitting. So I have the braided oil hose line, and this is going to be your fitting that you're going to want to use in order to install this. But there's a lot of burrs on here. I'm going to go ahead and cut that off. I simply put a zip tie right around the oil line there. That way once I cut into it with my angle grinder, it won't burr out like that. So it'd be easy for installing the fitting to the line. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Okay guys, once I got the line cut, I'm going to go ahead and just simply unscrew the fitting. Alright guys, very next thing you're going to do is take that fitting, just screw it down with your hand. There's some little threads inside there. What I'm going to do is just put a 16 mil right on top of that, and I'm going to go ahead and just zip it in with an impact. Okay, so once you've done that, go ahead and unscrew the compression fitting. Go ahead and just stick it in there. This is going to be a 15mm. Just screw it down with your hand until it gets tight. Okay, and that's it. That's how you get the fitting on. Alright guys, so that's going to be a 19mm. Alright, so 14 mil, go ahead and stick that in there. Alright guys, once you've got that 14mm fitting, go ahead and just screw on your braided fitting. Okay guys, so now that I have the braided compression oil line ran, I'm going to go ahead and run this 3/8 hose to this barb fitting right here, and I'll just go ahead and simply route it up through the engine bay. So next, go ahead and get yourself like a 1/2 inch breaker bar or such. Put it on the belt tensioner. Okay guys, so the reason why we took the belt off, or slipped it off, is because we're going to go ahead and install this bracket for the onboard system. So this is how you're going to do it. Alright, so let's go ahead and mount this thing. Alright, I'm going to leave it loose right now, that way I can move it around. But that's how it's going to look right there. That's how it's going to sit. You can actually pull these little deals out now. Okay guys, so I routed the return oil line, as well as, you know, making sure that this fitting is on here. And just repeat the steps like I did in the beginning of the video where I showed you how to install that fitting. So just make sure that the pressure oil line here isn't touching that steering shaft. Okay, that little bar right there, as well as this oil line right here. I'm going to use some zip ties just to get it out of the way while I'm driving. I don't need anything rubbing these lines whatsoever, as you can see, because this will actually be connecting to the onboard, and this side right here, I'll show you here in a minute, will be connecting to the spout. Okay, so I went ahead and just went over it with some thread tape right here over the threadings. We're going to go ahead and just screw this in. Now I'm going to mount this last, just because I want to mock everything up. So that's why I don't have it mounted right now. Alright guys, as you can see, I went ahead and installed these two fittings right here on the remaining excess braided oil pressure hose, as you guys can see here. So this side right here is going to go to the onboard system, and that's going to go to this pressure valve. Okay guys, I don't have it mounted right now, but I just got it zip tied. I will be mounting it. So, but anyways, I have it hooked up right here, and it goes through this valve right here. It shoots down, and let me show you guys. I went in and took the wheel well cover off just to show you. Here's the braided line right here. I ran it through here, and I'm going to zip tie everything. That way it doesn't rub. It goes right through the top, and then it comes out right here, guys. Okay, and then I'll be hooking up the fitting, as well as the I'll be hooking this one up too right here. Okay guys, so very next thing you're going to want to go ahead and do, once you've attached the oil pressure line to the bottom right there, it's going to feed right into this oil drain valve right here. This is actually, you're going to be able to get your oil samples a whole lot easier, guys. As you guys can tell in the beginning of my video, I actually dropped that oil sample inside the oil pan, or the drip pan, which wasn't fun. So next time I do an oil sample, it's going to be a whole lot easier to get, so I can actually reach into the engine bay instead of getting underneath the truck, and it's a whole lot cleaner, guys. Go ahead and take that fitting, because this is going to hook up right to the very bottom of it. You're going to want to go ahead and screw this down first. All right, install that barb fitting. All right, guys, next thing you're going to want to go ahead and do is remove your oil cap, because this is where we're going to be doing a drill and tap. So in order to install the fitting, make sure you guys drill the hole, and you're going to be using a 1/4 inch NPT tap for this job right here. And then once we get that tapped in, we're going to go ahead and put the fitting on, put the cap back on. Okay, so next, guys, I'm going to go ahead and take the larger of the vent lines, because you're going to have 2 of these. And this is a push lock fitting, so just push it until it seats, just like that, so you're good to go. I'll give myself about that much right there. That should work. And then I'm gonna go ahead and attach my line and zip tie them so they don't bounce around while I'm driving. So next thing, go ahead and get that vacuum and filter right there. And it's gonna, with the kit, it's gonna come with a bracket. So let's go ahead and install that bracket right now. Okay, just a note with this vacuum filter, guys, there will be an arrow as it's pointed in that direction. I want you guys to mount it that way. The airflow, you got to understand the airflow's got to go this way right here. So it's gonna mount just like that. Okay. Okay, so basically the whole goal here is this is the smaller stuff. They give you plenty of it, which is great, of the vacuum line. So what I'm going to be doing is attaching the vacuum line from here to the top of the onboard. So we're going to go ahead and get that fitted right now. Okay guys, I'm going to go ahead and take this off and clean all the plastic pieces out. But what I'll be doing right now is I'm going to go ahead and drill and tap this mouthpiece right here, the turbo mouthpiece. So this big intake plastic part right here, you're going to go ahead and drill a hole. And then we're going to use the 1/8 tap to get your threading so we can install the this 13mm 90-degree elbow fitting vacuum line. Guys, so the very next thing you're going to want to go ahead and do is run these wires. Either or, it doesn't really matter. That one can be positive, one can be ground. In the kit they give you the Adafuse extender, so that's going to be pretty easy to install. Basically just strip it, put it in and crimp, and you're going to go ahead and install this to a keyed only fuse. Okay, so like basically like your ignition fuse or something to that effect. Alright, so you have your fuse box. So you want a keyed only fuse. The reason for that is you don't want continuous power to these wires, simply for the fact that you will burn the little motor, internal motor out in the seals. You don't want to do that. So just whenever you turn the key over, that's when it'll actually initiate the power. So I have a, let me show you here. You guys can see this little wire going down here. That's my FASS. Okay, that's my that's going to my my lift pump. So I can't use that. So I'm gonna go ahead and just find a different fuse. It looks like I found a radio amp, or just the radio fuse right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and just test that fuse right now. Okay, looks like I got power running to that one fuse. I'm just gonna go ahead and extend that wire. Guys, I have the wiring ran right there, and as you guys can see, I went ahead and crimped a connection right here because I'm going to go ahead and ground it right here where this intercooler is. So this is my favorite spot to ground, as you guys can tell. So I'll be grounding it right there. All right, guys, I went ahead and ran my ground right here to this bolt right next to the intercooler. I figured that'd be a good spot for it. Okay, so very next thing I'm gonna go ahead and do is just go ahead and mount this oil drain valve. So I'm gonna go ahead and just mount it with this. I'm gonna use this bolt right here. It's a 10mm. So there's really no wrong way to mount this thing. It's really your preference. This is how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go ahead and I bought 2 of these. So basically, what I'm gonna go ahead and do is just route them through, size them up, cut them, drill a hole, and then I'm gonna go ahead and mount it right there. So it just your preference, guys. Any way you want to do it, that's how I'm gonna go ahead and do it. So next thing you want to go ahead and do is add your oil. Okay guys, so next step we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and unscrew this off completely, all the way back. Just open that oil line completely. Make sure this is in the open position. This is the shut off. That's closed. That's open. Look through the sight glass. Next thing you're going to go ahead and do is start the truck up. It may take a minute or so for the oil to actually reach into the filter, fill it up. But once it starts to fill up, you're gonna see right through the sight glass, the oil's gonna go down the ramp. Okay, once you see the oil go down the ramp, it's gonna fill up about, I'd say about half up that ramp. This is when you guys need to go ahead and just back this off one full turn, and about a half. Okay, that works for me right there. Basically what you're doing is you're just slowing the oil speed down a little bit, so it's not going to fill this whole piece up completely with oil. If you end up doing that, guys, go ahead and turn your truck off, let the oil reside, let it, because this is the drain tube. Remember how we installed the drain tube? It's going back to the oil pan. It's just going to reside back into the oil pan, and you guys can keep restarting this until you actually get it right. But basically what you're doing is you're just regulating the oil speed right now at this point. Alright guys, installation complete. Very happy with it. Just follow my instructions. Let's say from start to finish, it will take you about 4 hours to do, as long as you have the correct tools and the correct methods on how to do this job right here. Not entirely too difficult. I was able to do it in my driveway, so and I'm not a mechanic, so I guess it's really not that difficult, guys. But yeah, I mean, basically in this unit in itself, once all this stuff is refined, all the stuff that's taken out of your engine oil, and it goes through this little vacuum air dryer evaporator right here. Once it goes through this tube right here and it goes into your intake, it's going to go through your turbo, through your combustion chamber, and out your exhaust. It's just going to keep your engine oil cleaner. Less interval changes, less oil changes for me, which is amazing. Very happy about that, because as most of you guys know, engine oil is very expensive. So, but yeah, you know, it really wasn't that difficult to do it. I mean, you don't need to be a rocket scientist to install this. I was a little overwhelmed once I got the kit in the mail, just because there was like a bunch of fittings, and just even the instructions were kind of vague at first. But I was able to work through it, figure it out. I called the tech there at ONBOARD. He was a really great guy. He really knows what the heck he's talking about. But also, I really like the way it looks. It looks really cool. And when I go to, you know, diesel events and car shows and stuff like that, it's going to be funny when people are like, what the heck is that thing? What is that? So I get to explain that. That's pretty cool. Okay guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Hopefully we learned something on the ONBOARD system. And I'm telling you guys right now, it's just an amazing product. And I have the LBZ. My truck is pretty much deleted, so for a lot of you guys that really just don't want to delete anything on your truck and just keep it completely stock, which is very normal, and that's totally fine, guys. This would be a very beneficial modification that you should do to your engine, especially for the LMLs with the DEF. It's going to extend the life of the DEF, definitely, so you don't have to change that as much. And it definitely reduces the regeneration cycles on your DPF, your diesel particulate filter. That is just an absolute horrible thing, in my opinion, the way all that works. But basically what I'm saying is there's going to be less clogging, less gunk in your engine. And it's just a really great product in general. But, you know, I really appreciate your time. If this is your first time stopping into my channel, as always, guys, make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit that notification ping every time I post a video, so you guys are alerted, so you guys can stay up to date. I'm going to continue with this truck right here. I'm not done, obviously. There's a whole lot more that I'm going to continue to do with this. But yeah, hey guys, I thank you for your support, and thanks for watching.